boys? We're out here, freaking September. It's supposed to be a little colder, but it's not. Sun's out. It's a little hot. Did a little fabrication on this thing. Haven't drove it a couple of years. Exhaust broke. Steering came loose. Jake almost crashed the freaking thing. The part of the steering up here was kind of stripped out, but that stainless cover though, that thing's shining. It's nice. But yeah, kind of fixed that. Had to make a little spacer to go in between there. Not very professional, but it works. And I had to tighten this up and do an alignment on it. Got these wheels during COVID. Some Joe Biden money. Thanks, Joe. Paid for my wheels. Had to redo the exhaust because it cracked. Got the Murphy's old KX450 exhaust. Not the cleanest exhaust, but it works. Good enough for this. Exhaust kept breaking, so I had to put a flex joint in it. Bottled that off. I mean, it looks pretty good for what it is. Don't feel like spending money on a battery, so got one of the jet ski batteries in here. It's mint. It's not going anywhere. Gotta clean this thing up. It's freaking dirty from sitting. Very dirty. But put gas in this thing. Fresh filter. Thing fired right up. It's sitting for years. Also had to fix the alignment. Now it's good. Gotta get marine gauges because these cheap eBay ones don't like to sit outside. Even if it's sitting in something, they do not like moisture. They just stop working. Got the race panel. It's all freaking rusty. This is sad. Got a lot of money in this thing. Might not look like it, but those wheels alone, I think, were like 800 bucks with the lug nuts, tires, complete kit. They were not cheap. Got air shocks on it. Check these out. Got air shocks. You can either film with air, film with nitrogen. There's the air box. Not my cleanest fabrication back in the day, but you know, it works. Anybody know what that's from? It's all cracked up in there. That's from Eric's Bayou 220. Or it could have been mine, I don't know, I don't remember. Freaking scrapped that thing. But yeah, it's a whole Bayou setup because I didn't have anything else to use, so. Got a Suzuki Samurai Rad. Keeps this thing cool. It doesn't even really get up to operating temperature. Only runs like 130 degrees on a good day, maybe 140. Just gotta clean this thing, it's so dirty. Broken bracket down here. Freaking two-stroke life. Things vibrate so bad, that's why the exhaust keeps breaking. Luckily I found another one of these on eBay because the whole thing cracked right here. So I found a new one. Then you gotta cut it and flip it 180 because this points that way and it needs to go down. Normally it points up, or it points down, And you gotta also flip it so it goes up, because it was pointing down here and that wouldn't work. There's not much clearance. Got my custom throttle cable adapter to adapt 2 cables together. Brand new belt. Kenny Customs. Not even in business anymore. I won't even ask about that story. That's one of me and Eric's 8 failed businesses, probably. Now he's powder coating with the most successful business he's ever had. Thank God. But we're gonna drive this thing soon. I just gotta get some fresh gas, because I just stole Dave's Steel 2-stroke mix, and I'm gonna have to get some more gas because that's not enough. I didn't even flush the lines out or clean the carb this time. I always gotta clean the carburetor with this crappy ethanol gas we have these days. But under here, I had more of like a marine type filter that was a lot bigger. That would hold more gas. And right now I just got one of the typical chintzy tractor ones. I mean, they're all right for what they are, but literally just threw the thing on there, put gas in it, primed it, got a primer, just like snowmobiles do up here. Still works too. That thing's at least 5 years old now, probably 6. Lines are getting a little hard. I have to put some new ones on soon. I threw some gas in there. Not much in there. Not much. Does have a gauge, but can't see anything anymore. Threw some gas in there, fired right up after I primed it about twice. This thing just, it always runs no matter what. I might have to clean the carburetor, 67 times, but she runs. Always. And that motor is old too. Take a guess on what year you think this motor is. We'll just we'll take a look at it. Here. Eric painted this thing Ford blue, and it is one of the best paint jobs I've ever seen on an engine. I know it's dirty, but it is held up completely. The only spot it started rubbing through and chipping is because this bracket was hitting right there, but it's a really good paint job. What year do you think this thing is? 90s? Nope. Try again. 2000s? Nope. Try again. This thing is a 1986 Ski-Doo Rotax 462. I mean, that's what's on the side, but they're like 462 or 467, same thing. But makes about 50 horsepower. Plenty enough to crash this thing. Goes way too fast. I don't know how people put street bike motors in these things. It's ridiculous. But I don't know. One day when I get a garage and a house and all that, try and clean up some of the fab work on this thing. Replace any rubber bushings or anything that need to be replaced. But it's pretty solid for what it is. But alright. Take this thing for a ride soon. Oh, and another thing. Forgot about this. This thing hasn't had the seat backs on it since, I don't know. Since this thing, what did this have in it? 4. Did this have another motor in it? I don't know. It's been so long. I mean, I put this motor in 2014, I think. When me and Christian worked for Permafloor, I swapped this motor in. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody remember these days? Remember this setup? Let's take a look at this. Well, it's upside down right now. Let's see if we can flip it over. The basket's about to fall off. It's really hard to do with one hand. Alright, let's see if it'll sit. Probably not. Guess not. Alright, let's see if we can get this to work. Come on. Alright, this ain't working. Oh, could have just did that in the first place. Thing was falling over. Yeah, anybody remember these days? I mean, just look at that fab work. Would you just look at it? Look at that fab work. That is not clean. Here, let me get some focus action. Yeah. Not so clean. Those were my fab skills back in the day. Just cut brackets and grind the edges. Oh, look at that's nice. Got another bracket right there. But yeah, this was the original Ski-Doo part. It's all covered in oil still for the oil mix. It's crazy. Haven't seen this in years. This has been sitting in the backyard over yonder for at least 6 years now, probably. Yeah, at least over 7 years. But I think we had this on when we first swapped the motor. And then I had oh yeah, all right, so we had this, obviously the oil tank. This was the on and off for the fuel, because I had the fuel tank back there. That's why that's all cut and this bracket's all bent. Had the fuel tank sitting in the back. Man, those were the good old days. Crazy. This thing's like a time machine.